right, here we have TSL.HyuN. He is our reigning champion. He's won 5 weeks straight. He's taking on Fnatic.aLive now. TSL.HyuN, Red Zerg, top side of Atlantis Spaceship. Way over here on the left side, we have Fnatic.aLive as the purple Terran once again, needing to make up some ground here, already down 0-2 in this best-of-9 series.
And a few reminders to everyone out there that are watching at home. We do have a contest going on right now where we're going to pick 3 winners who will each receive a prize package that has a copy of Heart of the Swarm. We'll pre-order a copy in your name, an IPL t-shirt, and a shot glass. If you want to enter into that, head over to tinyurl.com/IPTLHOTS. Again, tinyurl.com/IPTLHOTS. Also, our IPL 5 tickets are in full swing, and we have some early bird deals that are going on. If you order by the end of the month, your general admission tickets are actually only $40. They'll become $50 after the end of the month, and they're actually $60 at the door. So jump in now. And VIPs as well. If you decide to buy a VIP ticket, we'll throw in a $50 Cosmopolitan gift card with your order. If you order by the end of the month, head over to IGN.com/IPL5 to pick up your tickets.
All right, yeah, I mean, obviously, both of us will be there. You can come see us. You can come see StarCraft.
Yeah.
Come see League of Legends if you feel so inclined, and see some of the best players in the world from each of those games. Of course, there will be other amenities at the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas. I hear they have a casino there.
That's right.
That's very, very exciting.
We're going to be in a manic state of shooting as well with Shootmania.
Yep, and I will not be allowed in the casino because I just shouldn't. after IPL 4, I think it's a bad idea. But if I do have some drinks, maybe we'll play blackjack.
Well, Barracks finished now for Alive. Of course, HyuN starting to divert the path of his overlords to check for common proxy spots. He will eventually find this Barracks down here, and Alive's not trying to do anything too crazy. He just wants to make his opponent wonder for a little while. And he will decide to put up a 1-rank gasless fast expand. HyuN, though, going with the if it ain't broke, don't fix it approach. And he once again has 15 hatch into 16 pool, followed up by gas right afterwards. And I would expect nothing but a round of 8 roaches, eventually into banelings, layer tech, and up to mutas.
Yeah, perhaps even a hatchery at 6 minutes, maybe even a macro hatch after that before 4th
Possibly.
Base. Maybe even a Spire.
Possibly.
Yeah,
pretty
probably not.
Market change from Alive, though. He's done a couple of different methods to try and get through to the mid game, but this is the first time that we've seen that traditional 2 refineries right after the second command center. So maybe potentially we'll see a bit of mech here in a bit. He could also, of course, go straight into those cloak banshees and switch back up into biomech afterwards.
I wouldn't mind seeing something a little bit more aggressive out of Alive. Last game, he actually did some good stuff there, working toward the mid game. Obviously, had that first good encounter, but he's sort of lacking opportunities to go kill HyuN. He's lacking opportunities to leave his base safely. And I feel like he might just need a build with more units to be able to do that and control the mid game rather than wait for HyuN to drive the action.
And so this go-around, we can see he gets his factory down a little bit faster. Still not quite the same time we would see out of other Terran players, but a little bit faster than he did last time, so we'll only make an additional 2 Marines here to help keep him safe. But he will have a lot more gas whenever he puts down the starport. We saw that he completely bypassed Banshees last go-around, but this time he'll have plenty enough to go up to Cloak Banshees if he wants to.
Yep, and that might be just what he needs. He hasn't tried it yet. Might as well give it a shot. In my opinion, Atlantis Spaceship is not a terrible map to do that. The only tricky part is sort of skirting behind the main to get over to the natural, but you can also come up from the bottom side too, and you do have a lot of room to move around if you do that. So obviously some potential there for Cloaked Banshees, but right now just running around with Marines trying to find some overlords that are perhaps a little bit too overextended. Not actually finding any though. Actually, did he find one? I don't think he did.
No, I don't believe he did.
Yep, HyuN being very careful with that. He knows kind of the best places to put overlords, like on top of gadgets like these crazy turbines we just looked at, but there's plenty of opportunities for overlords to stay safe until Vikings start showing up. But starport is coming up now. It's about halfway done.
Hey Josh.
Yo.
We had a 6-minute hatchery followed up by a roach horn and immediately into second gas. This is an identical build once again from HyuN. He is literally doing everything he has done in the first 2 games. We'll see at about the 9-minute mark. We'll see eventually moving up into banelings and layer tech again. Did he even make or I guess are we going to see, yeah, he's saving up for 8 roaches once again. He'll have basically perfect gas available for it. Another 5 overlords, everything.
That's
just
good.
Could not be more consistent.
What did that depot do to HyuN to deserve that?
I don't know, man.
Horrible death.
It is gone, though.
Atlantis Spaceship is going to become supply blocked if this keeps happening. And I think it's a detriment to Atlantis Spaceship's supply to be blocked all the time.
I agree.
But HyuN doesn't care. He's just going to build more roaches. There is a Banshee, no cloak. So he is going to perhaps just try to get some kills with it, maybe bait out some spore crawlers or something like that. Oh,
delayed
actually,
cloak.
Never mind. Just didn't want to buy it yet. He had the money for it, so I was actually a little bit surprised to see it come that late. But maybe he was still flip-flopping in his head. We do have 2 Evo chambers coming up for HyuN, so he will have the ability to make spore crawlers very soon. That's good for him, obviously, as this Banshee could be quite a problem for him. The first one's already out on its way.
And HyuN has roaches in perfect position. He has great map coverage right now with his Overlords and Zerglings just sitting in all the familiar spots to make sure they pick up on just these sorts of run-bys, I should say. Taking a look at Alive's vision, I want to make sure he doesn't have anything out on the map that I'm not aware of. No, he's actually retaining his Banshees for now, waiting for that cloak to finish.
All right, and we've seen Alive's drop micro many, many times. His Banshee micro is right on par with that. He can control both of them very, very well. Attack 2 different bases, stuff like that. He does have the lair coming up now, HyuN does, so he will be able to morph Overseers before too much longer, so Alive really needs to head over there and not waste too much time with these Banshees while they're still a big threat.
Okay, so he's heading out now, and he does have a bunker up at the front, but that is 9 roaches starting to head his way. It'll be a little bit for him to deal with. Nice job to run the Hellions on by, as it does delay HyuN for just a bit, and he starts to split some of his roaches for home.
He could do a combined harass with the Hellions, like poking the front and then the Banshees attacking in the back, but actually now I'm not sure if he is going to do that. Sometimes you see that done to great effect where you just split up all of these forces and try to hit as many drone lines at once as you can, and the Banshees are going to go ahead and initiate cloak. I don't see any spore crawlers finished, but that one is very close. That narrow window that you have with the Banshees actually closed right as he was arriving.
Yeah, and he's already taken significant damage on one of the Banshees. Spore Crawlers going up over at the natural, but none are in place yet, so he does have the potential to get in and do some pretty good damage right now. And he will pick off 3 or 4 drones before he finally heads out of here, but not really target firing anything down. He left 2 of them at half health.
That's not what you usually see, Kevin. Usually people try to kill workers.
Yes, correct.
And not maim them, and sometimes they even control their Banshees as they fly over 2 spore crawlers and 2 queens.
Oh no. And another Banshee goes down. So far just 1 queen has fallen and 5 workers in total for the cost of 3 cloaked Banshees.
Oh man.
Not what he wants.
Alive, I was just talking about how good your Banshee control is, and then you do that? What are you trying to do to me, man? I got a little bit of credibility.
And HyuN says, aha, I've defended a 3rd look this time. I will continue to do exactly the same thing.
It's apparently the best build in the world.
It's working really well right now, I have to tell you.
It's covering a lot of bases. Alive is expanding again, or at least building another command center, trying to catch up on bases. Actually, that will be his 4th CC once that gets finished, as he does have an orbital just chilling. He probably could take that up to that base right above him as well without being scouted for a while, but we'll see where he actually intends to go with these. HyuN is adding on his 4th base now at the High Vespine 3 gas location, which is always a joy. And the Spire's done now, so he can start spending any money that he had saved up, about 700 gas worth.
I like the thought of Alive playing a bit more passively, though, because HyuN's strength really is in his super aggression with Tier 2 units, striking with a billion Banelings and a few Mutalisks in there for positioning, things like that. I'm not saying he's bad with Tier 3 units, but he tends to avoid them whenever he can. And if Alive can get to that point where he's on super high tech, he's on 4, 5, maybe 6 bases and just producing massive amounts of units, he can start to a little more effectively combat that Tier 2 tech.
Yeah, so we do have 42 lings coming from HyuN. So you were just saying those building tons and tons of the low tier units is something we see out of him a lot, and now we're seeing it once more. 2-2 upgrades are going to be done here soon as well, so he could be biding his time, waiting for that to try and finish up. And we just have a ton of lings ready to go.
13-minute 4-base Terran Ling Max. Versus Terran Ling Max is apparently the way that HyuN wants to go about things.
There we
go. Here, That's not quite a copious amount of banelings, but we'll soon see those.
Yeah, that's still a lot, and obviously it only takes 2 to kill a Marine. So if he can land those safely, that'll do wonders for him. Obviously, the Lings are going to be running in, drawing most of the fire, giving the banelings a chance to find their juicy targets. We have a few Hellions moving forward here from Alive, not being controlled right now. So actually just getting a look at part of the army. Alive was trying to do a drop, it looks like, but HyuN is actually splitting his forces, making sure not to commit too much to trying to kill off those Marines.
And there's no planetary fortress here over at the third, so it's not all that defensible, especially against the kind of army. There's my copious amount of banelings, as 36 joining the 14 on the field for a total of 50. Nubatai's Carapace just finishing up as well. Does he have Ventral Sacks? No, so he won't be able to drop yet, but he's moving efficiently into Tier 3 tech as well. Hive on the way.
Well, he does have that Overseer with the army. Obviously, Cloaked Banshees are going to be showing up again. He wants to be able to protect against that. Does not even check that base location because he is ready to move. He just needs to figure out which direction he wants to go, left or right. There we go. Fork in the road. He chooses left. There are some siege tanks up on the high ground, so actually some Lings getting splattered. He says, no, forget that. There's no tanks over here. I'll just come kill this instead.
Yeah, and he's going to do that pretty effectively. The Mutalisk chasing down everything, and that was a lot of SCVs.
Yes.
22 workers killed now, so a 40 supply advantage, and still these Tier 3 units, or Tier 2 units, I'm sorry, I should say, are just charging across the map.
Yes.
But pretty good counterattack here from Alive, picking off a few drones himself. Has almost even the amount of workers lost, but needs to get himself a base kill and doesn't have it.
Right, he is going to lose all of these Marines. It was nice to actually try and neutralize that a little bit, but the fact remains that he just lost an entire base, and he's about 30 supplied down, even after this new round of 13 Marines and 2 tanks. He's nearing +2/+2 upgrades. HyuN is, can we click on a Ling and see what his upgrades are saying? 2/2 already, of course, so Hive is going to be done for him. He'll be able to start working toward 3/3 for himself soon, as well as, Adrenal Glands and Ultralisk Cavern, Greater Spire, and 40 more Banelings.
Yeah, that'll be 79. 79 Banelings. I just want you to think about that for a second. There's a lot of Banelings.
And 2 can kill a Marine.
That's right.
2 can kill 10 Marines.
That's right.
If they're
2 can kill
enough.
a bunch if you get the perfect explosion.
That's right. And Greater Spire is on the way now. I'm not sure how many it takes to kill an orbital. I think it's, or a planetary fortress. I think it's 10 or 12.
Oh god, and that was just destruction.
Yep, no chance of that surviving. 40 workers killed total now for HyuN, and he's still got a huge standing army. It's just a matter of time before he decides to basically just crash through that front and try and rebuild from there. I think that because he has so many more bases than Alive does now, crashing through the front just to see what happens might not even be a terrible idea because he can remax.
And unfortunately, his medevacs are going to die overhead. That'll decrease his survivability for a little bit of these Marines, but enough Lings come in to eventually clear them up anyway. Not even a single Baneling had to be used there. There are still 63 of those said Banelings still remaining.
63.
I know.
Is he leaving these roaches here just to die to free up room for Corruptors
so.
and Broodlords? It looks like that's the case, and more Spinecrawlers actually going up now as he sees Alive actually poking forward a little bit. That's the natural response. Makes Spinecrawlers. You've got 3K minerals to play with, so might as well build some base defense, and if Alive comes out of position, then he can just run over there and counterattack.
This is still a really powerful army from Alive, but because he's down by 40 workers, so he actually has way more supply in his army at the moment. But if this doesn't win the game, he has very little opportunity to try and reproduce this, and it looks like HyuN was thinking about cutting this off, running through with Banelings. The tanks are finally sieged up. Nice job by Alive to split the vast majority of those, and he does kill a lot of forces and retains a lot of his tanks, but still, that bank is there for HyuN, and he immediately remaxes on Zerglings.
52 Lings, 4 Broodlords morphing in, 6 Broodlords morphing in now. There is not a super ton of anti-air besides these Marines, actually, and the Banelings are going to be able to obviously keep the Marine count a little bit low. So if the Broodlords can maintain good positions, it'll obviously work out for him. Alive is going to drop into this 3-gas base and try to take that out completely. HyuN is actually moving back a little bit. This is the first sort of aggression that seemed to pay off for Alive at all in this series, so I wonder how far he's going to be able to go with this.
Well, Broodlords are sitting overhead, though, and that makes this position a whole lot weaker because there is not a single Viking on the field. and with just even this little bit of fast air units moving around, he can actually position and pick off the tanks as they flee.
Oh my goodness, and this is all just sitting here for Fungals and Banelings to crash into. Those tanks going down means that the next wave of Lings that comes out is going to be just that much easier to come in and kill the Marines, and Alive just lost absolutely everything, and all the Broodlords are still standing here.
Yep, all the Broodlords. There's a huge amount of Marines that are still on the field, but that's it. 37 Marines, 31 SCVs, and that's the entire force from Alive. So he's trying to fight from another 100 supply deficit. HyuN is so good.
It's really difficult to fight back from a 100 supply deficit.
Yes.
And Marine King has done these styles before where he just takes little pockets of Marines and stims up and runs around, but Speedlings with Adrenal Glands nearly finished, and Banelings rolling around all over the place. Obviously, he's got a lot of bases, so he doesn't mind. Actually, just GG's before any final encounter can actually happen.
Yeah, not actually too surprised to see that, and Alive is down, unfortunately, 0-3.